What's up, guys? You guys know I have this Banks Ram Air intake system, which is phenomenal. I decided to take out my filter and clean it. Now, as of right now, you're seeing it in all of its glory, all clean. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that here in a second. Now, the reason why I'm doing this now, because you guys probably know, but didn't you just add that like 6 months ago? You're right, only has 11,000 miles. I'm willing to bet you can probably go 20,000 miles on this filter before you really have to start looking at cleaning it out, because it was dirty, it wasn't that dirty. But the reason why I'm doing it now is because I don't learn my lesson. I've told you guys in the past, do not start working on your truck until you have your parts at your house. So you guys probably know what that is. That is the DEF tank. I decided to take that out for cleaning, and I ordered a canvas plug to basically put in my truck while I'm cleaning this, right? You guys probably get what I'm trying to say here. Well, I decided to test the water. So if I take this out, I wonder if it really would throw a check engine light. And sure as day, even if your truck is tuned, I promise you it will throw a check engine light. And guess what? You can clear it as many times as you want. It will keep coming back. I cleared it like 8 times, kept coming back. So don't unplug your DEF system until you have your canvas plug. So I learned a valuable lesson here, and I should have just not done anything until that plug got here. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'm gonna show you guys how to clean this guy. Now, I will admit, I am doing this prematurely. This is not dirty at all. But I figured while my truck is gonna be down for like another 5 or 6 days, I can go ahead and just get this filter nice and clean and just have it ready to go. So I'm gonna order a second filter and then have a pre-filter. I'll show you guys what the pre-filter is here in a second. But what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna still beat out all the debris that's in this filter before I start getting it wet. And then I'm gonna clean off the surfaces of it, and then we'll degrease it. That way we can get as much of this dirt that's stuck inside of here. And then we'll rinse it out, and then we'll pretty much oil this thing up, and I'll show you guys how to do that here in a second. But the good news about this is, because of how big this filter is, you don't necessarily have to do this at 10,000. You can probably go easily 15 to 20,000 miles on this filter because it's so big, and it would take a lot of time for this to really get so clogged where you would have to get it serviced. But regardless, I think that this is pretty dang good. So let's go ahead and start beating this out. You guys can see, filter's not that dirty, right? But still quite a bit of, stuff that gets lodged in there, like bugs. Like right there, is that a bee? Something. But yeah, you don't want to obviously beat it up too much, right? And so I would just say, like, just try to get it as much as you can like this. And then whatever you can't get out, hopefully the water will kind of release it. But yeah, it's definitely some stuff in there for sure. Here's what I picked up from AutoZone. This all cost me just under $48. Next time I have to get this, I'm gonna just get it off Amazon because it's a little bit cheaper, and I think that you can just buy this stuff individually. So I didn't necessarily need this bottle, but I've done this in the past with other cars, and I hate spraying this guy here. So I'll basically just dump this inside of this once, it gets low. And I just noticed this oil is in an aerosol can. So this should be pretty interesting. I don't think you have to really shake this stuff. So you can if you want, I guess. But yeah, let's go ahead and start cleaning. Now, I'm going to use a little bit more pressure for the water. They recommend you don't do that. But because I have another filter coming, if I screw this one up, I'll just throw it away and just use a new one. So we'll see how everything turns out at the end. dry. So I'm gonna hit this one last time with some cleaner here. There's still a little bit of grease stuck in these cleats. So I wanna get as much of this out before we start letting this dry. And I'll let it sit for like another 5 minutes or so. And then, like I said, it'll be done at that point. And by the way, this spray bottle sucks. So next time I might just use the regular spray bottle. There it is. I figure because it's 20 degrees warmer inside my house, this will dry a lot quicker. So I just got this tote, put a rag down there. And just so you guys can see, I mean, I pretty much got this thing really, really clean. So what's left now is letting it dry and then oiling it. But I highly recommend getting the pre-filter with this because you guys will see how I kind of bent some of the pleats on this thing here. I think that pre-filter will prevent you from having to beat out all the debris. So it's like a $40 or $50 thing you just put on top of the filter, keeps debris out of it, and it might prolong the life of this filter too. So I don't know what the service life of this filter is either. So that's something that I might need to ask Banks, but you will have to do your own inspection, obviously, right? Especially for the inside of the filter. You want to make sure this thing doesn't start tearing apart. So I would say after 50,000 miles, do a really good inspection. And then after that, you really want to monitor this. But these are not that expensive. You could just, you know, I would say probably after every 50 to 100,000 miles, you know, start looking to replace these and just have a second one on hand, because cleaning this is not hard. But if you need your truck, having a second filter on hand will be very helpful. So that way you don't have to worry about doing all this and have other stuff to do that requires you to drive your truck. There's one last thing I got to show you guys that we have to clean, and then I'll show you guys how to oil this thing. So whether you have this Banks cold air intake, or if you decide to keep this piece of junk, this next step is going to be the same for both, okay? So I highly recommend wiping out that box here. So down here, I recommend wiping out, because you can see some of the debris that came out with the filter. So wipe out as much of the debris as you can. I would even recommend vacuuming out this thing first. That way you get any loose residue out of there, and then just wipe it out really good. And then that way, when you put the filter in, you don't have to worry about, you know, contaminating that filter so soon. It's the next day, and you guys can see the filter is dry, and I got everything out between these pleats. I'm really happy with the results of this. So we're gonna go ahead and start oiling this guy here. Because it's an aerosol can, be sure to watch Banks' video. I like the way they did it, but I'm just gonna show you guys how I'm gonna just oil this with the aerosol. Again, they give you directions on how to do it, but they're pretty vague. So I don't recommend you spray oil inside the filter to oil the pleats. I'm just going to spray all the pleats nice and evenly like this. I'll just keep turning it like this, you'll see. And then what I'll do is, once I'm done, once I see that I got the pleats nice and oiled, I'll lay it on each side for like 30 minutes a side. That way the oil has enough time to allow gravity to like push it through, I guess, if that makes sense. And I think we're good to go. And you don't even have to do that. I'm just gonna do that just for my sake. But yeah, let's go ahead and start oiling, and then that'll pretty much end this video. I hate how much I like the aerosol can. That was the easiest oiling of a filter in my life. That took a minute or two, not much. And I sprayed the side of the housing of the filter so you can see how much grease. So a lot of grease does come out when you spray. So don't do a constant spray. I would just say nice, you know, spritz, just like I did, and do it as evenly as you can, and then let it sit. And then if you see any areas on the filter, I'm pretty sure down here it might do that. So spray as much as you can at the top, and because the gravity does allow the grease to drop down. So you don't want to put too much on. So if you have any spots that are like very light, you just want to touch them up. And I did flip it a couple times to make sure I got it nice and even. But as of right now, you can probably tell the sides are probably where you're probably going to get the least amount of grease. So make sure you check the sides. But yeah, this side looks great. You can kind of see the grease in there on the pleats. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out, guys. Like, very easy to do. The drying process took me longer simply because of the time of the year. It's not summertime, so I can't let it just sit out in the sun. But reality is, this is an easy job. It's kind of fun, actually, like to get this clean, like cleaning it, getting all the dirt and grime out of it. Like I said, I just ordered the pre-filter so that way I don't have to worry about beating it out. And I think that'll just reduce the cleaning time. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That will pretty much complete it. If you want to buy any of this stuff off Amazon here, I do get a small commission if you purchase this stuff here. So be sure to check that out for the cleaning and oiling. And be sure to get the aerosol can. This is the way to do it, guys. I love this.